What's your name and where are you currently based?
My name is Hannah Tower, and I'm based in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada.
Wonderful. So Hannah, tell me, prior to joining WCA, what would you say was the biggest challenge or the biggest issue in your life, and how is that affecting you?
So I work in the film and TV industry, and I got into it because I wanted to be a director. I wanted to make films and TV that matter because I saw how much influence they have on people. And I got into the film and TV industry, but I ended up in a position that was not exactly what I wanted to do, but it paid well, and I thought, okay, this is going to help me move forward. And somehow I just got stuck. I get stuck in that same position over and over, year after year after year. And then suddenly, 10 years, my union gave me a pin that said, "Congratulations, you've been with us for 10 years." And I thought, I've been doing this for 10 years. And I had my, Law Satori moment. That I'm like, no, this is not what I wanted to do. And so I quit kind of my job, not really, like I quit on the, sort of, I kind of quit. And I said, I'm going to go back to Thailand because I'd already been to Thailand before. I'm going to go back to Thailand and I'm going to pursue my passion, which was to make a documentary or film about this woman who has an elephant sanctuary. And it was amazing when I followed my passion that the doors opened, and unexpected doors, because I came to Thailand. I didn't do the documentary on her. I did a documentary on tiger trafficking, but I also met a man, and I had 2 children. So I came back with 2 children. So then your priorities do change for a little bit, and then my emphasis was on my children. And so I went back into the same job again. And so now I've been stuck again, and I feel like I've had so many great ideas, and I've been presenting them, and they're almost there, and then I get the rug pulled from underneath me. And I see my ideas 5 years later that someone else has done. And I'm like, damn it, that could have been me. And I'm so tired of not getting to where I've been wanting to go, because I know I have so much to offer, and I have a lot of things that I want to help people, especially animals. I want to have an animal sanctuary. And yet I just feel everybody and your environment and the people you're with, they always just say, no, no, no. There's so many no's of why you can't do this and why it's not going to happen. And then when I say, no, I'm going to do it, and I presented a pitch project, and they were kind of interesting, but then it fell through. I'm like, well, they're right. Everybody's right. It's not going to work. So then I started losing direction, and that's the problem. Is now I don't know, have I been going on the wrong path this whole time, or have I just not been trying enough? Have I been stopping right before that threshold? And so I came here to try and gain clarity on what is it I'm supposed to do with my life, given my talents. If I have any talents left is another question. I wonder, do I have anything left? Because am I too old? I have kids. Maybe I can't do this anymore. So I came here because I really needed to figure out, who am I? Who am I? Who is my core again? And it's been an eye-opening experience. It really has.
So we've seen you on that. And first of all, thank you for sharing this. And I heard a kind of short version of it when we first met. So I feel like hearing all of this in a lot of depth to also just add that extra to your story and all of your beautiful talents and things that you will do. On that note, then, we've seen you going above and beyond in the past 4 days for sure. What would you say specifically for you was maybe the biggest aha moment or realization or breakthrough moment in those past 4 days?
Oh, there's been so many. Well, the first one, just from day one, I didn't realize, what do they call it? Having the physical experience, or like a physical movement. How, what is it? Movement rewards? No.
Brain rewards movement.
The brain, or the brain rewards movement. Okay. So there's, combining the movement and your thoughts can make a change in your chemistry, in your internal chemistry. I didn't realize that because I've been sitting behind a desk for so many years, you know, so I couldn't even fathom how getting up from my chair and doing something and associating the emotion with it could change my thought patterns. The other aha moment, of course, was that breakthrough on day 2, where, thanks to you, you're the one that told me not to talk to the other people, talk to yourself, talk to that young child. And that changed everything, because it's like, that's right, I'm not trying to convince everybody else here. I need to convince myself what it is that I really wanted to do. And then the other one that was a breakthrough, when we were doing the visualization, the meditation, envision your future self. I actually had to envision my younger self, because when I was in my 20s, I was a go-getter. I don't take no for an answer. I don't care what you think. I'm going to go for it. And sadly, when I was moving from Montreal to Toronto, because Toronto is where all the film industry opportunities were happening, and I told my mom, I'm moving to Toronto to get into the film industry. And her parting words to me were, you'll never make it. And that has somehow stayed with me. And I wanted to prove her wrong. I really wanted to prove her wrong. And so I thought, you know, I've been working in the industry now for 25, 28 years. So I proved you wrong, but I didn't make it. So in some levels, I feel like she's right. I got into the industry, but I didn't become a director. I'm still coordinating. I'm still, I've done a few producing things, you know, smaller things, but I realized that I need to go back to my younger self. My future self is just an older version of my younger self, where I didn't have those limiting beliefs, you know, where I said, screw you, I don't care what anyone is thinking, or I'm going to pack up my stuff and go. I had that moment in 2009 when I was working on a big series in Budapest, and it was grueling. And that's when I got that pin. And so that for me again was like, that's right, this is what I was supposed to do. So I gave up everything and I went to Thailand. And it opened up a lot of doors. But now I've had children, and so I've had to, take a little bit of a break on myself to focus on my kids. But it's really important for me to work on myself for my kids, and I need to lead by example. And I want to make sure that they have a stronger path and they don't have the limiting beliefs on them. And that to me is very important. And I want them to succeed quicker than I can.
And of course, they love you succeeding too.
Of course. Yeah.
With my mom, who always did everything for me, and I feel like now she's still doing everything for me and for my brother. I'm like, I wish you did something for yourself, to see that inspiration, to see what's truly possible. So on that note, then, we always say we don't go back, we move forward, we go forward. Leaving WCA, what do you feel like you're gonna take away with you in terms of the things that you might want to implement or do, or the things that you will never want to do ever again? Like, what are the things that you feel like you leaving with?
I guess because I didn't know where I was going, that I create, as my partner would say, chaos. I invite chaos. But now, after listening to Tim, I realize that chaos is actually necessary. You need that chaos before you have a breakthrough. Now I need to figure out how to take that chaos and give it direction. And I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to understand that, okay, I've got this chaos in my life, but now I need to give it direction. I need to give it more focus. I didn't have a clear idea of what I wanted to do. But now that I'm reconnecting to my core self, I'm going to make sure that every decision I make are new decisions that will honor my core, who I am really at my core self, and not honor what other people want me to do, and not what I'm expected to do or what I should be doing. That's a huge takeaway for me, is I feel empowered again. I feel like I'm looking at my younger self again.
It's you, and it's in your eyes, honestly, like it's shining so bright. So one last thing, for people who are watching this and they feel inspired by you. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't get inspired by your words and the way that you speak, but maybe they feel like, oh, good for Hannah. She maybe is confident, she done all of those things. It's easy for her to do it again. Or maybe they feel afraid to travel all around the world to do this. Like, what would you say to someone that wants to do it, but they feel afraid, they feel scared to actually do it.
Do what? Sorry. If they,
WCA.
oh, WCA? Oh my goodness. So I've actually been online looking at all kinds of self-empowering, the personal development gurus that are out there. And there was something about the way Tim explains it that just everything makes sense. Because he's been through it. And I was actually wondering, what's his education? Like, how is he so knowledgeable? And someone said, no, it's just personal experience. And I find it amazing how he explains things. It's so different. And of course, he over delivers, and he gives pragmatic and real challenges and examples, but also, what's the word? He gives real, not solutions, he gives real, I can't think of the word. Like not a motivation, I can't think of the word right now, but he gives useful ways to apply these techniques into our world, right? Into our daily lives, that none of the other ones felt realistic. He feels realistic, like the way he explains things and how we should take these tools and apply to ourselves. It's doable. It's not impossible. It's not coming from this huge, successful overachiever. Yeah, it would be easy for Richard Branson to say, go ahead and make money, do it like I could. Well, I didn't come from that same kind of background. I didn't have those kind of opportunities. But Tim, you can tell he's really vulnerable, and he fought his way up there, and he's had to endure racism and hardships just like everybody else. And he gives us the tools to handle them in a way that nobody else has been able to explain, to make me understand what it means to do that and why we behave. It's the why we behave that Tim has explained to me that now I understand. Now I get it. It's been so many aha moments with Tim that I've never experienced with anybody else. And so I would really, really recommend to come and experience the family. These are all strangers that we're with, and yet I feel like we've connected at so many levels. We're all broken, and it's so empowering to see that we can do this together, and that we can lift each other up, and that it's possible to move forward using Tim's techniques and tools. And you had to be here to feel it, to feel the energy, feel the physical motions, because it does change you. It really changes your chemistry, the body chemistry. And so I feel like I now have the tools to move forward.